Hi people, I wish to talk about the current The Flash movie because I think it gets the wrong treatment. The studio could have come up with a subtitle to it because a secondary title because this is the third The Flash with the DC Flash character which IMDb throws up to me, and it's just confusing after a while. But okay, whatever, we know. We know what's the problem here. And aside the studio interference and whatever, and the most problematic part, Ezra Miller. I will talk about Ezra Miller at the end of the video. So, obviously I cannot show you any picture of the movie, and I don't want to put here the trailer in a loop or something like that, like a professional YouTuber would do. I just don't feel that necessary or honest, to be honest. So, I wish to discuss this movie as a movie, because this is a good movie, and that's a problem for the studio with Ezra Miller. But uh, a lot of other people participated in this project beside that problematic person. So, looking at this from the technical aspect, it's a great movie. Really, you can see what is happening, and when it's playing with the dark, hard to see thing in a cinema room, in the theaters, it's it would be great. I was watching it on a streaming, so don't mind me. And that has a reason why I did that. And that's when we will come back to Ezra Miller. But what this movie brings to us, the music department, good, they did their job. The cinematography, the lighting, they did an excellent job. This is not the previous Batman and Justice League movie where everything was dark and moody and and slow. This is a good superhero movie which you got used to getting from Marvel. So this is an excellent superhero movie, and it is really sad that no one comes up with some creative solution how to bypass the problem Ezra Miller presents. So there are other actors in this movie, like Gal Gadot appears as Wonder Woman, and she's good, she has a presence, she's there doing her job, and has a funny scene where she do action hero stuff. And that's one point of the script. The jokes don't come for the expense of the script, don't come for the expense of the tension, the emotion, the script itself in general. The jokes are funny, like when this is some multiverse and time traveling movie, and an excellent of that. So there is this scene where Flash 1 and Flash 2 are in the same position, and Flash 2 just got his power, so, you know, why not put him in a suit? But where do we get a suit? The only kind of working superhero suit is of Batman, and he has a spare one, of course. So he, the Flash, whichever it is, start to overpaint it with red and yellow lightning, and cut off the ear with the scissor, and it's funny, and it serves the script. It's absolutely excellent. And of course, who is Batman here? Yes, there is Ben Affleck for the main timeline, but that's not where we spend the majority of the runtime. The majority we spend the time with is the original movie Batman, and that could have been a Harrison Ford situation. I don't know what you think about Harrison Ford. In general, I liked half of his movies when he was, a big name in Hollywood and producing all kind of shit. And I don't want to go into the Blade Runner. Why would you want to run on a blade? Never mind that. That franchise, I don't understand it. Never mind. But what he did in Star Wars, that was shit. And what he did in Indiana Jones, that was piece of garbage. And this is when someone brings up a professional reviewer or YouTuber like Johnny Depp. Oh, he got a treatment because he allegedly bet her wife. That was a nasty situation, and he was removed from the industry practically. Was that fair? No, it was not fair. But was that the reason why Johnny Depp got removed from the industry, from this role of Jack Sparrow and all that? I say no. Just look at the fifth Jack Sparrow movie. It was garbage. And not just garbage as a movie, what Johnny Depp presented there was absolutely unacceptable. And if you look back, he did the Alice in Wonderland movies and whatever, those were flops. He didn't bring in people with his attitude, with his look, with his acting. Ezra Miller, in this movie, I'm not familiar with his previous acting or the Flash series, did a decent job. Good job, actually. I like his character. We come back to this, but think about that. Do we need Ezra Miller as the Flash, or does his acting or whatever he brings into the DCU franchise is irreplaceable? Does the bad things he brings as infamy balances out what he brings in for the franchise? And we will discuss it at the end of the video. So, uh, what Michael Keaton does here, he did the first two Batman movie. When I seen the promotional material, I had no faith in him. But what he does here is excellent. He is supported by the script, he is supported by the other actors, he is supported by the whole crew. And that makes movie magic. And he dies. It's a big spoiler, you will get it now. But and that is, according to the movie, an irrevocable point. And it's not something like Harrison Ford did in the Star Wars sequel trilogy or whatever you want to call it. The Disney Star Wars film, that was garbage. What Michael Keaton does here is heroic, superhero. He has a presence, he has a talent, he knows he's aging, but he is someone you are crying on the screen. When his death happens, you are crying inside. That's marvelous. Or DCLs, or whatever. I'm not good with the puns. So, how is he Batman? One big point of this movie is this multiverse, time traveling aspect, and Marvel. So I don't know, they did 5 movies or more, and a lot of series in phase 4 and 5. anyone knows what time travel, quantum, multiverse thing is? Here, you get a absolutely unique, genre-renewing concept of time travel. And it's simple, literally like one sentence, illustrated even, but it's easy, simple to understand, effective, absolutely renewing everything you know about time traveling. And it's including the most recent scientific discoveries. It's genius. And moving on that, a lot of things are reused. Okay, because time travel and all that shit, but it all comes with a refreshing twist. It's not just taking a scene and putting CGI people in there, or putting the scene here via CGI. No, it's a new movie. It's a movie that's worth watching. And that's the point I wish to emphasize on. And the fight choreography is genius. Really, it's good. It's you don't never wonder where is everyone, why there is no fast cutting, and there is everyone is doing their job in that scene, and you know why this person doesn't attack that person, because there is this third person who is fighting, so this is second person can fight this fourth person and go through this line of fighting, uh, but this fight between the first and third person does not get disrupted. They just go around it, and because they are fighting and not they are fighting, and they don't have time or energy or opportunity to get into this fight. These two people can't interfere with these two, and these two can't interfere with these two, and it's and this movie, from the operator perspective, the operator work, moving the camera, is using the Dungeons and Dragons movies operator work. Long sequences of camera, uninterrupted, obviously using CGI or whatever, but because of that, widening the angle, narrowing the angle, moving the camera, but it is a continuous shot. You don't need to splice it to unrecognizable, unfollowable shape. You get a classic fight scene, action scene, and whatever, and traveling scene, and this makes moving from one point to the other more exciting. If you move the people there and the camera is moving that way, great, it's exciting, it's innovative, and you don't have to work with the static camera work like in the classic era where you put on a camera and make a screen or turn it or maybe put it on a cart and move the cart around. No, you have new technologies, and they work, they really work if you are using it well. So, what else this movie presents? For the majority of the movie, we are of course spend the time with the Flash, sometimes a bit too much when no one else is present. Okay, I would have cut maybe 2 minutes from the movie, but it's not over long. Ezra Miller can be uncomfortable, even as the Flash, because the Flash is an annoying character. It is designed to be that way, but even that is good. But when something else is happening, that's the real gist. And Ezra Miller takes away maybe 15-30 minutes just by himself, and 2 minutes of it gets too long, but know, still 8 out of 10 this movie is. So it's worth watching as a action movie, especially as a superhero action movie. And it has a great script, and we are going through a time travel thing. So we are past that. And why did I want to watch this movie? It was Sasha Cal as Supergirl. I'm not too familiar with Supergirl, and the blonde Supergirls did not achieve anything in Hollywood, neither as movies or film series, but she looks hot. And I'm really waiting in Hollywood new recognizable names or just faces, more exactly, not exactly names, just people who you recognize in an episode of series or as a supporter role. You can rely on them, even as eye candy, because they are making a decent acting job. Hopefully something better, something they have some unique aspect, personality or otherwise. They don't have to look traditionally good looking, beautiful, but something that catches you. A bunch of guys, like in the Lost series, there was that guy who was sitting in the radar station. He had a really scarred face from, I don't know, illness or whatever. He was one of that. He was, I think, maybe in the Devil Genie movie franchise for the first two installments. Or there was the guy who played the ice cream man and was in the Overballs Evil the Island, whatever movie, and a bunch of other things. He was small, he was bored, but he had a always brought in a unique character. And Sasha Kane really looks someone like who could be that character who looks unique. And here she does a decent job. And just by looking at this film, if they would make a Supergirl series, maybe 13 episodes or something, or used her as a new Supergirl in the core DCU films or whatever they are planning in the future, I would like her return. She did what I wanted. She looked cool, she did her job, she had some potential to throw in people to watch her on the screen. So I really hope just appearing along Ezra Miller, this doesn't bury her. Because really, she is the coming talent, and she is a talent. So, let's discuss Ezra Miller. Is he a nuisance? He's really a bad person. You don't want to keep him around. It's just a bad publicity. And he really doesn't add anything. You can't replace it with a modest talent. So they are rebooting the DCU anyway. Why not change him? Well, maybe you are thinking he's a character in the main timeline or whatever, but it's the trick. Watch this movie to the very end. Think about the motivation of the characters and this whole time traveling multiverse aspect of the whole thing. And look at where Ezra Miller as the Flash ends. And that really can mean the end of the Ezra Miller in the DCU franchise. this movie is ending Ezra Miller as the Flash. There it is, the perfect ending, for the perfect send-off of this character. You don't have to say as a corporate entity you fired him, but it is, if we are lucky and if the DC or Warner or whoever are making these films or series or whatever have some minimal brain power, they will send off Ezra Miller from this role with this. This is the perfect opportunity. And that can save this movie from being just buried by the negative publicity of Ezra Miller, because if he is sent off and a new Flash is brought in, or just the Flash, the character is written out of DCU, they can't find a replacement or they don't want to find a replacement, then people can return in a year, maybe, or two at worst, and watch this on streaming or on DVD or whatever, and can see this, what this is, a good movie which handled everything right. Sure, had a problematic actor in it, who did a decent job in the movie, by the way, but it's a send-off for that character, and you can understand where DCU is at the moment, or where, if you are in the future, you can understand the Justice League, you can understand Supergirl, you can understand Batman, you can understand Wonder Woman, you can understand the cyber guy. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. I once liked him in the comics, appeared in this country like once or twice, whatever. But I recommend to watch this movie. But because of Ezra Miller, I don't. I recommend that you don't watch it in cinema, because that's, profiting and sharing and all that kind of stuff. But watch it on streaming, or if you don't have the streaming that has this film or will have this film, well, you know what to do, save the seas. But this is a movie that worth watching, and probably will be buried for unfair treatment, because the movie is good.